All right, welcome everyone. You ready to kind of dig in and get to know yourself a little better today? I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We're going to spend
Yeah.
some time exploring how to unlock some serious self-knowledge and maybe even tap into like the hidden power of connecting with others.
Totally. Like, we all want to grow to achieve more, but it all starts with understanding ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to dive deep into this whole self-awareness thing, which is honestly like the foundation for a successful life, both professionally and personally. And then we'll explore how finding your community, your people, can be a huge catalyst for that growth.
Yeah, and like luckily, we've got this cool tool to guide us, the Rutherford Intel.io personality assessment app. Think of it as your own personal guide to like who you really are. It's designed to help you pinpoint your strengths, those things you just naturally rock at, but also to shed light on areas where, maybe you could use a little development.
Exactly. And the app uses this framework called the Core 12 personalities, which, by the way, aren't just like random categories. They're grouped into 4 distinct quadrants, which we'll break down a little later so you can see the whole picture.
So, like, our mission today is to give you some serious insights into your own potential. We'll look at how self-awareness is the bedrock for, actually realizing that potential and how connecting with a supportive community can, like, amplify everything. And all of this is based on, like, real science, the science of personality. All right, you ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's start with Rutherford International, the folks behind the RutherfordIntel.io app. Their purpose is to, quote, foster a world of mutually supportive professionals where possibilities are endless and every individual is empowered. I mean, that's pretty inspiring, right?
It is. It's like it speaks to that core desire we all have to not just exist, but to thrive, to really make the most of our lives.
And they see self-awareness as that crucial first step, like building that solid foundation for both career success and a fulfilling personal life, aligning, who you are on the inside with how you show up in the world.
Right. And the benefits of this kind of self-awareness can be massive. Like if you're a leader or even just want to be one someday, it can seriously sharpen your intuition when you're guiding a team, making tough decisions. It's like having that inner compass that always points you in the right direction.
Totally. But it's not just for leaders. This kind of self-knowledge can impact like every area of your life.
Think about it. When you understand yourself better, your communication skills improve, right? Your relationships become stronger. You make decisions that actually align with your values. You might even find your self-esteem gets a boost. You're more confident and like even more satisfied with your work because you're on a path that feels right for you.
And there's research that suggests a more self-aware workforce actually leads to greater productivity and a healthier economy. Like when people are optimistic, they make good choices, they feel like their work has purpose, it creates this ripple effect of positivity.
I love that. It's like a win-win for everyone. And it's not just about knowing yourself better, but also recognizing the potential in others. It helps you approach challenges with a more positive mindset and avoid those blind spots that can trip us all up sometimes.
Totally. And in today's world, being self-aware gives you better tools for like navigating disagreements and building trust. It can lead to more efficient collaborations, spark creativity in teams, and bring a sense of authenticity to everything you do.
Right. And, this whole self-awareness thing, it's not just about looking inward, is it?
No, definitely not. While introspection is definitely part of it, true self-awareness also means understanding how others perceive you. It's like getting that outside perspective to help you adapt and grow.
And that brings us to the power of community, which is something Forbes Rutherford, the driving force behind the Rutherford Intel app, is super passionate about. He's got like over 30 years of experience in executive search, so he's seen firsthand the power of both individual growth and connection.
He's a big believer in fostering not just like individual self-understanding, but also creating these strong connections and a sense of mutual support among professionals.
Yeah.
You know, like we all rise together kind of vibe.
Exactly. And the RutherfordIntel.io app is all about that, creating a space where people can connect, support each other, and grow together.
Yeah, and the invitation is open to everyone listening, right? You can take the assessment, discover your personality type, and then connect with others who are similar to you in these affinity groups. It's a chance to tap into this collective power of shared understanding and like genuine encouragement.
Going back to that Rutherford International mission, this idea of mutually supportive professionals really comes to life through this community aspect, doesn't it? It's acknowledging that we're not in this alone. Our growth can be so much richer when we connect with and learn from each other.
All right, so now let's get a little geeky. Let's talk about the science behind all of this. Remember those core 12 personalities we mentioned earlier? Well, they're not just randomly thrown together, okay? They're organized into these 4 distinct personality quadrants.
So it's like different families of instruments in an orchestra. Each instrument has its own unique sound, but they all belong to a larger group, like the strings, the woodwinds.
Exactly. And these 4 quadrants are leadership personalities, intellectual personalities, interpersonal personalities, and productive personalities. Each quadrant then houses 3 specific personality types, giving us more nuanced understanding of each.
So in the leadership quadrant, we've got the opportunist, the holistic, and the result-driven personalities. These are folks who just naturally take initiative and influence others.
And then we've got the intellectuals, which includes the analytic, the imaginative, and the insightful personalities. These are the ones who are driven by curiosity, knowledge, understanding the how and why of everything.
The interpersonal quadrant focuses on, connection and includes the altruist, the social, and the individualist personalities. They're all about relationships, social dynamics, the human element.
Finally, we have the productive quadrant with the process-driven, the inventive, and the responsible personalities. These are the folks who are focused on getting things done, whether it's through established systems, innovative problem-solving, or a strong sense of duty.
This framework, this Rutherford Intel system, it really tries to acknowledge the beautiful diversity of, human beings. It recognizes that our unique personalities play a huge role in both our achievements and our struggles.
So let's take one of these personalities and really dissect it, okay? Like a case study.
Right.
Let's look at the analytical personality, which falls under that intellectual quadrant. This will give you a taste of the kind of insight the Rutherford Intel system offers.
Our sources go deep into describing the analytical type, not just in terms of career paths and relationships, but also in their approach to, well-being and self-discovery.
Yeah, one of the first things that stands out is their communication style. They're very direct, no-nonsense, fact-driven. They might even have a dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
So when you're communicating with them, be prepared to back up your points with evidence.
But this direct, data-oriented style, while super valuable, can sometimes create friction in communication. One of our sources even mentions that, this style can lead to inefficiencies in a team setting because it doesn't always resonate with everyone's natural communication style.
Right. They can be blunt, challenging assumptions with phrases like, give me the data, or why do you believe that? Which can come off as, a little harsh, even if it's not intended that way.
Right.
And they have this habit of, constantly probing with why and demanding proof, which, while aimed at clarity, can sometimes sound accusatory.
And it's not just a surface level why either. It's like they're peeling back layers, like the 5 levels of whys. Every answer just leads to another question as they dig deeper and deeper.
Exactly. So do you understand that analytics process information differently? A good takeaway here is that even analytics themselves, they can become better communicators by anticipating that need for evidence and gathering the facts up front.
Okay, so what about connecting with an analytical personality on a personal level? Our sources dive into that too.
They do. It seems like while, ideas like love are important, they tend to prioritize more fundamental practical values in their relationships. They often maintain a bit of distance, which helps them observe and assess things objectively.
So maybe those big romantic gestures aren't really their thing, huh? But hey, a well-timed anniversary reminder, that's definitely appreciated.
Right. But they love a good debate and intellectual conversation. That's their love language.
What about conflict?
Well, their first reaction to conflict might be silence, reflection. They're not necessarily jumping into the emotional fray. Instead, their problem-solving side kicks in, and they'll probably respond with a bunch of logical questions aimed at, finding a solution.
Got it. And it's important to remember that they can overanalyze situations and be pretty literal. So if you're close to an analytic, maybe choose your words carefully and avoid being too vague.
Yeah, and even though they might seem indecisive as they're weighing all the options, they generally like to make up their own minds. They don't love it when others make decisions for them. Oh, and they're big on honesty, objective opinions. They're not great at lying or being lied to, for that matter.
So basically, a successful relationship with an analytic is built on understanding, patience, open communication, and appreciating their logical way of seeing the world.
Let's switch gears a bit and talk about the health of the analytical personality. This is super interesting, given their whole data-driven mindset.
Yeah, it seems like they're natural skeptics of conventional wisdom, and they really rely on scientific evidence when it comes to their well-being. It's all about the data.
And this leads them to, challenge some common health beliefs based on their own research. For example, they've found evidence that skipping meals strategically might actually help with weight management, reduce the risk of certain cancers, and even increase longevity.
And contrary to some old advice, their analysis shows that coffee is linked to a lower risk of certain cancers, protects against type 2 diabetes, and can even benefit heart health. Although moderation is key, they say around 3 to 4 cups a day seems to be the sweet spot based on the research.
They also question that whole thing about eggs being bad for you, citing research that shows they're packed with essential nutrients and don't necessarily raise bad cholesterol levels. Some experts even recommend eating a couple of eggs daily.
And you know how everyone's always pushing low-fat diets? Well, their research points to a long-term study that found low-fat diets didn't really do much to reduce the risk of major health issues in women.
And they even touch on exercise, suggesting that those high-intensity interval training or HIIT workouts might be more effective than longer, less intense workouts.
So it seems like they're confident in making their own health choices based on solid research, even if it means going against the mainstream.
It's that commitment to logic and evidence-based thinking.
Okay, so here's a fun little tangent. Our sources also offer a glimpse into the dietary history of some famous analytical minds throughout history. And let me tell you, it's pretty fascinating.
Like, did you know that Thomas Edison supposedly judged job candidates based on how they seasoned their soup? I mean, talk about a unique hiring process.
Well, you've got Steve Jobs with his, infamous carrot-heavy diet.
Right. And Michelangelo, who apparently ate only out of necessity, not for pleasure.
And Charles Darwin, he had this glutton club where they'd try all kinds of exotic foods.
Don't forget Marie Curie, who, during her student years, lived on bread and butter.
It's not about copying their diets, of course, but it shows that even brilliant analytical minds haven't always prioritized a scientific approach to nutrition. It makes you appreciate the evidence-driven approach that the analytical personality type uses today.
So, to wrap this all up, we've seen how understanding yourself through tools like the Rutherford Intel.io assessment and connecting with a supportive community can be such powerful drivers for growth, both personally and professionally. It's about self-knowledge and knowing your tribe, your people.
We really want you to sit with the ideas we've discussed today about self-awareness, the power of community, and what we've learned about the analytical mind. Hopefully it's given you a fresh perspective on your own strengths and how you interact with the world.
And now, it's time for action. We encourage you to take the Rutherford Intel assessment, discover your unique personality profile, and gain insights into your strengths and areas for development. And if you're in a relationship, why not encourage your partner to take it too? Understanding each other's personality DNA can be a game changer for building a stronger connection.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about how a deeper understanding of your own personality DNA and the personalities of those around you could reshape how you approach your goals and your relationships. That's something to really ponder, isn't it?
It is, and it's something that has the potential to lead to some pretty amazing transformations.
That's it for today, folks. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.